On the outskirts of a small town, surrounded by a dense forest, stood a strange house known as the House Without Windows. It was an old, decaying structure, blackened with age and covered in moss. Every door and window was tightly boarded up, and no one knew who built it or why it remained abandoned. Locals whispered that if you entered the house after sunset, you would never return. One chilly autumn evening, three friends, Andrew, Olivia, and Igor, decided to test the legend. Armed with flashlights and a phone to record their adventure, they approached the house. The moon hung low, casting eerie shadows over the dilapidated walls. "This is just a stupid old tale," Igor said, forcing open one of the boarded doors. It creaked loudly, revealing a pitch-black interior. Inside, the air was icy and damp. A heavy, musty smell filled their lungs. When they turned on their flashlights, the beams illuminated walls covered with strange, shifting symbols. "Look at this! It's like some ancient writing," Olivia whispered. Before anyone could respond, a faint whisper echoed through the house. It was so soft that it felt as though someone was speaking directly into their ears, but the words were indecipherable. "Who's there?" Andrew shouted, but the only reply was a loud crash from upstairs. Without hesitation, Igor began climbing the staircase. "We have to check it out." As soon as his foot landed on the first step, the house seemed to come alive. The floor beneath him groaned and cracked. In an instant, Igor vanished through a hole in the rotten wood with a scream. His flashlight flickered out, and from the darkness below came an unsettling sound, like something crawling and scratching. "Get out! We have to get out!" Olivia screamed. Andrew grabbed her hand, pulling her toward the door, but it was no longer there. In its place stood a solid brick wall. The whispering grew louder, rising into a cacophony of laughter. The symbols on the walls glowed blood red, and shadows began to emerge from the corners of the room. They moved unnaturally, slithering like liquid. "It's a trap," Andrew muttered. "We have to..." But he didn't finish. The shadows lunged, enveloping him. His scream echoed once, then silence fell. Olivia was alone. Her hands trembled as she backed into the corner, tears streaming down her face. She could feel cold breath on her neck. "You're next," a voice whispered. When rescuers arrived a week later, the house was empty. Inside, they found a single phone with a recording. The last moments showed Olivia trembling. The camera pointed toward a dark figure with fiery eyes moving closer. What happened to the friends remains a mystery, but the townsfolk now avoid the house entirely. Even mentioning it brings an uneasy chill.